Honey, where are my socks? Honey, where are my socks? Honey, where...
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like... Fucker! You fucker! Fucker! Oh!
Huh? What the f...
Hello again, everyone. This is, of course, Bionic Slime with another installment of BS Bionic Slime's Reviews. Before we get started, I just wanted to say that I'm quite happy, extremely happy actually, to be doing this review. It's been a long time coming, at least for me anyway, but I finally started reviewing one of my favorite anime series of all time. Yes, I'm reviewing one of my personal favorites, one that I hope you guys will hopefully learn to enjoy, or at least check out after this review. Whether you do or do not, it's okay, but I really think it's a series worth checking out, as you will soon see in my review. And that series is the anime series Chrono Crusade. Before I continue, I also want to make a note that just because this is one of my favorite series of all time, my opinion will remain firm and unbiased on it. I always review everything the same, and I will always point out the same flaws and same pros of every show I see, whether it's one of my personal favorites or not. Anyway, back to the review. Chrono Crusade is brought to you by ADV Films and Gonzo Entertainment. It was written by the same guy who wrote the manga of Chrono Crusade, Daisuke Moriyama, and stars the vocal talents of Hilary Hagg as Rosette Christopher, Greg Aries as Chrono, Tiffany Grant as Zatella Harvenheit, Annie McGavin as Ion, Jessica Boone as Maria Hendrick, Laura Chapman as Sister Kate, and Jason Douglas as Father Ewan Remington. The plot. Chrono Crusade is a very different anime series. Unlike most anime series, it doesn't take place in Japan. It actually takes place in America. More specifically, it takes place in the 1920s of America, or as they refer to as history books, the Roaring Twenties. It's a very unusual move for an anime series. Chrono Crusade follows the young girl Rosette Christopher, an energetic, overeager, overexcited exorcist who works for the organization known as the Magdalene Order, a secret religious group that operates pretty much like a Jesus-orientated Men in Black. They operate in secrecy, and they protect the city from unseen dangers, only instead of aliens, it's demons, devils, spirits, and monsters from the grave. Assisting her, Rosette, is Chrono, an immortal, young-faced, and kind-hearted devil who has spent most of his life in captivity and has the ability to transform into a powerful devil warrior with the help of Rosette's special clock around her neck. He, along with Rosette, battle the forces of darkness in hopes of returning Rosette's younger brother, Joshua Christopher, who has been taken by Ion, a devil who has been organizing a rebellion against the world, both heaven and hell alike, and plans to create chaos amongst all three worlds. And it is up to the likes of Rosette, Chrono, the Jewel Witch Zatella, and the Apostle Asmaria, as well as the rest of the Magdalene Order, to stop Ion, rescue her brother, and save heaven, hell, and earth from falling into oblivion. A little over dramatic there, sorry. Review of the plot. As I said, it's very unusual for an anime series to be following in the areas of, like, United States or some, like Russia or any other location like that. But not only that, but to go even further and to have in a specific era, as I said, the 1920s, that's an even more creative step forward. What I liked best about this is that I found out that the actors and the directors actually looked up American 1920s dialogue, and they incorporated that into the character's speech. So you'll be hearing them saying these strange phrases like "cut a rug," "that's the cat's pajamas," "everything's Jake," "applesauce," "it's the bee's knees," all that cheesy old dialogue. It's all there, and it's all perfectly accurate to the time era, and it works so well. It makes it much more amusing and a lot more educational for those who care about history. I don't, but I still thought it was fun. What I love best about this story is that, unlike most anime series, Chrono Crusade has a real powerful effect on people, at least that I've seen so far. It definitely had an effect on me. It had one of the most powerful, heart-wrenching, heartwarming endings I've ever seen in my life. In fact, one of the main things that got me into checking this series out was someone at an anime panel I went to at a local convention who was talking about anime endings, and they said that Chrono Crusade is one of the saddest endings that she has ever seen in her life. I wanted to see if that was pretty much true, so I put it to the test, and she was right. I also got into it because she said it was basically about nuns with guns, which is also true, which definitely helped. But Chrono Crusade has an extremely powerful story. It deals with a lot of emotions, dealing with like living your life to the fullest and fighting against the forces of time and fate. A lot of questions of God, religion, and faith. That's another big thing. This series deals with religion, which is something that the Japanese usually tend to avoid because they find it freaky or terrifying. So I found that even more interesting. Particularly the whole idea of a church acting out like a Men in Black service against devils. Review the characters. As I've said before, I've always felt characters are the strongest part of any story, no matter how good or bad the plot is, and Chrono Crusade does not disappoint. In fact, it has by far one of the best cast of characters I've ever seen, particularly with the brilliantly chosen main characters, Chrono and Rosette, who are brought perfectly to life by Hilary Hagg and Greg Aries. I love Hilary Hagg. She's one of my favorite anime voice actors, and I think she gives the absolute performance of a lifetime. If there are any awards for anime voice actors, she damn well deserves them for this performance. I really felt the raw emotion of her character's mix of flair, sadness, and the crazy outbursts that Rosette are known for. It was absolutely amazing how well she brought this character to life. Greg Aries was also brilliant as Chrono. He gave that character such charm, such adorableness, and he fit the bill so perfectly. He has a very distinguished voice, and it fit right in there as Chrono. He played perfectly off of Hilary Hagg, and that made their couple factor and their relationship so much stronger as characters and as voice actors. All of the other voice actors are some of ADV's finest. Jason Douglas is always good as Father Remington. I always enjoy his voice, and he was very good in this one. Andy McGavin has been known to play the villains countless times in ADV series, and he never fails to miss a mark, but he really nailed the bad guy down here with Ion. He was absolutely despicable and slimy and just an unimaginable bastard, and he really gave that character that sinister nature that made him so despicable. Chris Patton gave another lifetime performance that I felt that Hilary Hagg did. He was really good as Joshua. He really knew how to get the raw emotional depth of Joshua's voice, and what you see he goes through, it really was unbelievably impressive. Everyone gives a good crest. Tiffany Grant as Zatella, always great. She nails that German accent perfectly. Even some of the newcomers like Jessica Boone as Ismaria, they all did such a fantastic job. Oh, I can talk about it all day. Review the animation and the music. The music was absolutely perfect. I don't have a damn single negative thing to say about it. It was religious, it was fun, it was fresh, it was empowering, it was dramatic, it was epic, it really had every single kind of emotion wheeled into its musical tunes, and I loved it, especially as Mari's beautiful singing voice. I don't know who did her singing in Japan, if it was the same actress who voiced her or someone different, but it was magnificent. I absolutely loved it. The animations I absolutely think was great. I mean, some people may think it looks too cutesy to fit into a dark kind of, epic anime, but I think it works really good. I love a series that can mix comedy as well as tragedy, and this one does it perfectly in spades. You have nice, colorful characters who have unique appearances and costumes and make them even more distinguishable and likable and, above all, lovable. I could watch these guys do 50 billion episodes of Chrono Crusade if they ever made it. That's how much I'm in love with this show. Flaws about the show. As awesome as the show is, there were a couple things I felt that should have been touched on a little bit more deeply. The whole aspect of the 7 apostles, I felt they kind of left that out and could have explained a lot more about the other apostles, since they seem to only focus on Ismaria, which is great. She's a great character, but I think there was a whole side of story that you could have added in on. Same with the Sinners, the group that follows Ion. They have very vague personality explorations, except for one particular character, a girl named Shader. She got obviously noted because of her weird personality, but the others just pretty much barely even given any depth, and I think that was a shame. I think he could have gone more with that. I also felt that they could have explained a few more things at the end, particularly regarding Ion's fate. I won't reveal what happens with the ending since it's particularly shocking, but I'll just basically say I felt they could have wrapped his ordeal up a little more clearer in it. But other than that, I felt they covered everything pretty much excellently. A final wrap-up review, I think Chrono Crusade is a masterpiece of an anime series. It's not 100% perfect, but I think it's beautiful. I believe it's touching, and I could talk all day about how wonderful it is and how deep it touched my heart. It is a truly unique and wonderful series. Bottom line, I give Chrono Crusade 4.5 stars out of 5. Thank you all very much for listening. I hope you guys check this out, anime series, very soon. This has been Bionic Slime. Bye for now.